Hello there beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing fantabulously well. For those of you who are new, my name is Precious Hannah, and for those of you who are returning, hey, what's up? Thank you guys so much for watching. As you can tell from the title of today's video, guys, I have recorded this thing like 1,000 times. We are talking about sikasem issues here in this country, Ghana. If you are thinking about moving to Ghana or if you're already living in Ghana, this video is for you. We are talking about budgeting, what you need to consider for this economy, the cost of living, all of the above. So let's get straight into it. I've broken it down into 7 things that you should factor in when you're thinking about cost of living. As you know, I moved to Ghana by myself, so you know I can speak from an individual's point of view. However, I do understand that a lot of people want to move to Ghana with maybe a loved one or you know their family, so I'm going to factor that in as well. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't know too much about it, but what I will do is when I'm talking about the cost and throwing out figures there, I'm going to put on this side like a family rate, and then I'm going to put on this side like the individual rate. So yeah, let's get into it. The quick things, no long things, because Charlie, this thing is hard. Okay, first thing is first, when you come to Ghana, you need somewhere to lay your head. So you need to consider rent, right? So as you know, in Ghana, you have to pay 1 or 2 years rent in advance. It is a lot, it's crazy. Now, we're not going to be talking about all those lovely dollar apartments you find in airport. We're going to be a little bit more realistic and talk about city pricing for things, okay? The rate is very unstable. You know, 1 minute, £1 is like 10, £1 is then 14 or 15, and the dollar is like 9 or 12. And so I'm not going to mention any prices in dollars. We're going to stick to cities because I feel like that's what I know right now. So if you're an individual like me and you want a 1-bedroom apartment, definitely check out this video up here where I talk about what £100 or $120 got me, and consider that in Ghana things come in different shapes and sizes, different areas. All of these you need to factor them in. The time that I moved here, £100 was basically 1,500 Ghana cedis. So my rent cost me 1,500 cedis. So I'm gonna put I'm gonna say 1,000 to 1,800 cedis is what you can get for maybe a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment, depending on the area for like an individual. For a family, I'm going to say between 2,000 to 4,000 Ghana cedis. Again, depending on the area and what you want, because there are things on both sides that are higher, bigger, better area, maybe, and certain perks and all of that jazz. So do factor these things in. You can make it work for yourself. Again, you're going to pay that 1 year or 2 years in advance. Definitely need to factor that in. Sometimes you also have to add a security deposit, and you have to pay your agent that helped you get the place a 10% fee of the 1 year amount, which I mean, everybody's hustling in this Accra, so unfortunately it is what it is. If you use an agent and they're taking you to a bunch of different houses, they are sometimes going to try and charge you 50 to 100 and 150 cedis per house they show you. So, have your guards up, ask all the questions that you need to ask. Don't feel like he might think I'm disturbing him. No, disturb, because it's your money that they want to chop anyway. So be asking questions as much as you need. So next, I want to move into utility bills, because this also goes into renting. Now, depending on where you rent, you have to consider your dustbin, like your rubbish collection and all of that stuff. So where I live, I'm on a compound with a bunch of other people, and we have split it. So I pay 160 cedis for 1 year. So depending on where you are, if you're in a compound with a group of people, or if you're in like a house, you have to factor that in. So let's say between 160 to 300 cedis for an individual, and let's say 160 to 500 cedis for a family, because obviously you guys would have more rubbish, so you would want collection to come more frequent than just maybe once a week. So yes, factor that in. Next, I want to talk about water. So for example, where I live, we have a borehole, which is like a well, meaning we never don't have water. That English wasn't Englishing, but believe me, it's just from where I was coming from. It's just when I think about the borehole, I just get so excited, because I'm just like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Water is a big deal. So you need to make sure that the area you live in, there's water flowing, you know, you don't have any problems and all of that jazz, because it's very frustrating when you don't have water. Anywho, you need to factor in water. If you have a borehole, well, a poly tank, or if you have pipes, and if they turn off the water on some days and they on the water on other days, fetching water and all of these things, and you have to figure out how your bills work. So again, where I am staying, we pay 100 cedis a month for water. Some places it might be more. Again, if you're with a family in a bigger compound or in a bigger house, it might vary. So I am going to put between 100 to 300 for individuals, but I'm going to put 100 to 500 for a family or like a bigger house, because these things you never know, because honestly, water, they're always like, things are always increasing, unfortunately, in Ghana. But yeah, hopefully one day we'll get to a stable level. Next, obviously, ECG. ECG is very important because we need electricity. We have prepaid and postpaid. In my current apartment, I have a prepaid meter, so I have a card. I go to the shop, top it up, and I can just, you know, fill it. And then I am very cautious of how much I'm spending. Guys, when you're in your own house, you make sure all the switches are off. You make sure nothing is running and using electricity uselessly, because it is your hard-earned money that you are using. And as I'm here by myself, I really don't use that much. So literally, I would say I use about 150 every month, between 150 to 200. But obviously, if you're a family of 4 and you have people, like everyone in different rooms, ACs, fans, tablets, laptops, computers, all of these things, you have to factor that in. So again, I put between 150 to 300 for me, and for an individual, sorry, and then I'm gonna say between 400 to 1,000 for a family, or, you know, more than 3 people. Next, I want to talk about gas. Now in Ghana, with gas, we have cylinders. So that is the cylinders you connect to your cooker, obviously, to cook. So I'm going to insert a clip here of me taking my gas cylinder and filling it up. We have gas stations, obviously not what the Americans know as filling stations, but gas stations for your gas cylinder. They fill it up for you. I got the biggest size, and I think I filled it about 250 cedis. So yes, that is last of the utility bills. Do factor that in. Obviously, depending on how much you cook, if you're going to be baking, if you're, you know, if your job is to cook for other people, there's a lot. Like, you will just fill your gas as often as you possibly can. Next, internet. Jesus is Lord. Internet. Depending on your area, that's when you would know which network works best for you. And also, all of them have different packages, different pricing. I currently use Vodafone, and in my old area, Vodafone was amazing, but in this area, sometimes it just wants to be acting funny, you know, have its mood swings. But still, I just prefer Vodafone to MTN. So if Vodafone want to sponsor me one day, okay, speaking things to existence. But yeah, I spend about 300 to 400 cedis on internet a month. Guys, I know it's a lot, but yeah, I mean, I upload YouTube videos, I teach online, I literally work from home, I do a lot at home with the router. And because I have a router and not the fiber, I can literally carry it. So if I do decide that I want to go somewhere to work, I can literally carry my internet, because sometimes you go to these cafes and their internet is not strong, but you have your router and you can manage it. So, you know, I'm making it work for myself. I'm doing what I can with what I have. Again, if you're a family of 3 or more, you definitely would need more than my 300 or 400, because you will find that the bundle might even finish before the month ends and you will have to top up again. So I'm going to say between 600 to 1,000 cedis. I know it's a lot, but I hate saying it, but it is what it is. Damn. Yes. So next, I want to talk about groceries. Oh my gosh. Guys, if you haven't watched my Valentine's Day jollof video, please watch it. You see that Kojo and I went to Melcombe. I did get a comment saying that 500 cedis for that amount of shopping. Wow, that's a lot. And yeah, it is a lot. Converting 500 cedis is about £32, so about $40. Whew. And now that I think about it, yeah, it wasn't that much shopping for the amount of things that we bought, kind of. But yeah, just imagine that was just for that one meal of making jollof. It wasn't even for like a weekly shop of things that I need. So you can only imagine how much. Like if you were just picking things, just not because you have a budget or anything, but just because you like it, you like what you see, Chale, is game over. But if you are budgeting, like I budget, like mine is I budget 300 cities a week, and even that's not enough. 300 cities a week to go to Malcolm, do some shopping, and like just have food in the house. But I'm an individual. I'm not pleasing anyone. It's only me here by myself, so you know what I mean? But then if you're a family of 3 or 4, I'm not even gonna lie to you, you have to consider like 2,000 to 4,000 Ghana cedis a month for grocery shopping. And yeah, that is a lot. Oh my gosh. Transportation. You have to decide how you're going to be moving around. Again, this depends on the kind of job that you do, or if you have your kids that you want to take to school, and so many other things. In a dream world, believe me, I would have a car. I already know the car I want. I want a Toyota Yaris, only because I know that it's a very maintainable car. Is that even a word? Maintainable car in this country. I know that if anything happens, every single mechanic in this country knows how to fix Toyota. The Yaris is like top notch, and and filling that car, it is a bit more expensive obviously than the bits or something, but like you can fill it between 600 to 800 cities, I think now, considering that fuel is also doing this. So yes, between 600 to 800 cities, I can fill up a Yaris and I could go about my business. You know that Lebu and I like to travel, go up and down. So with a Yaris, I know that it's heavy, it's strong enough to take us on our, rounds and to gallivant the country, and it's like small enough to like maintain for, little old me. So yeah, in a dream world, if you want to sponsor, please, I beg, just let me know how you want to send the funds. But yeah, so if you can afford to get a small car, do that. A small car in Ghana, like this Yaris that I'm speaking of, is gonna cost me between like 45 to 60,000 Ghana cedis, which currently I obviously don't have. So I use Bolts and Ubers and stuff like that, which I absolutely hate. Now, because even with that, fuel's increasing, so their prices are increasing, and it's increasing ridiculously. Like, it doesn't even make sense, but we manage. Guys, even trotro prices have increased, so it's not even like, oh yeah, just take trotro. I don't want to. It's uncomfortable and expensive. I don't like it. You can at me, but trotro is not for me. And I feel like trotro shouldn't be for you. You deserve the finer things in life. So yes, but trotro is obviously an option. Again, if you're a family, I definitely feel like you need to have a car, because it's just much more convenient. You don't want to be putting your kids in Ubers and Bolts and all of these things. Or if you have if you do that and you have you meet a driver that you really like, one of the nice things about Ghana is obviously you can build a connection with a driver, and he can literally be your personal driver, and you can ask him, oh, you can take the kids to school, bring them back, or take me to work, bring me back, no wahala, and you pay your own little way. So what I'm going to do is, if you're filling your car, let's just say between 600 to 700 cedis a week, if you are in a family and you get a bigger car, let's just say 1,000 a week. If you are using Ubers and trotros and stuff like that, every trip nowadays is just about between 25 to 55 or 60 cedis. So I really don't know how you want to budget that, but we're going to use fuel money we're going to just use fuel money for how much you will spend on Bolts and Uber a week, because that one day is hard to say depending on how much you move around and where you're going and where you're traveling to and stuff like that. So yes, next I want to talk to you guys about upkeep. Personal upkeep, your lifestyle, what you like, what you want to do, those little luxury things. So me, first thing is first. As you can tell, I have put on a little weight, and I'm not gonna lie, part of me likes it, but part of me really hates it. I like the little weights here at some places, but not everywhere. Like this thing and the stomach area out. So I have joined the gym, and gym in this country is not cheap. I'm not gonna lie. However, when I joined the gym, I did get it on offer. So I joined for 950 cedis for 3 months. So yeah, there's that option. It's not like the UK for me, where you can find maybe they do have this, but I'm not sure. But Davis, is it David Lloyd Davis or something? Those gyms where you can have it's a family gym where they have the pool and all of that stuff. you ain't getting that here. So I don't really think you need to consider the children and all of that. But for your upkeep, I would say whatever it is for you that you like to do, if you want to do your kids' hair, your hair, you know, take them to the barbers, factor in a cost for that. But I'm talking directly to my individuals like myself. So gym membership, I like to get my nails did, so I have to factor that in. I do like a good haircut, but for me, my haircut is like 30 cedis max, and I do that every 2 weeks, so you know, not too much. But we can put a rough figure here. I'm not even gonna say it out loud because I don't know what it is, but when I'm editing, I'll calculate it and I'll put my rough figure here. And guys, you can put a rough figure for yourself. You know what you do with your family and stuff like that. So whatever you do in pounds or dollars, just convert that to cedis and maybe divide it in half. I don't know, because it might be cheaper when you're here. But yeah, consider that. And then obviously some of you might like doing facials, massages and all of that stuff. And believe me, maybe in the near future that will be my life. But right now it's not in my budget. So I can't be doing all those things. I really would love a facial though. But yeah, it's not in my budget. And obviously, like, if you like skincare and you need toiletries and all of that jazz, you need to factor that into, you know, your personal upkeep, cost of living. So again, rough figure here. This is basically very like personal to me, but then again, you write down what you think you would need. And then guys, entertainment. You need to have a budget for entertainment. You know, in this Accra, people like to enjoy. If you know that you're going to be going out like once a week, you want to try new restaurants, you want to go to like the bars, the clubs, the lounges and all of that stuff, factor that in. If you're going to be drinking, you're going to take public transport. If you're going to have a driver or a trotro, Uber, no, definitely not trotro, but Ubers and drivers and all of that stuff, factor that all in. Even traveling around Ghana, definitely factor that in. And if you're like a family, like I said, and you have kids, there are now things are coming up where there are activities to do with your kids, which I feel like is really nice. So you can definitely take your kids out. We have like Bliss Entertainment Center. There's another place that opened up in Accra, like Accra Park or something in Dansuman, and they have like rides and stuff. So there are things that you can do with your family, going to the beach and all of these things. Definitely factor that into your cost, like enjoyment budgets, have that. And lastly, guys, emergencies. Now, I do believe in that saying, practice what you preach, and I haven't been practicing this, but this year I feel like it's very important that you have some money put aside when you get sick or when you're not feeling well, when you want to go to the clinic, that you have money that you can easily just say, oh, I need to buy medicine, I have that money saved, and just go get it. And you know, you're not worrying and you're not fussing or fighting. And it's not even just like emergencies, being sick, but just emergencies, any kind of emergencies. If you have like something you need to fix, your car you need to fix, or you need to go somewhere, you need to travel outside of Accra to do something for family, or you need to give someone money for something, just an emergency, you know, budget, just money stored there that you just don't touch. But if it's like an emergency and you need that money now, you have that there. I do really need to practice what I preach because I do need that fund, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like for the past 6 years I have literally just been getting by, but I'm like, we're adulting, we're growing, we need to fix our lives. I want to buy a house very soon in this country, so I need to, you know, budget and plan well. So I wrote these things down and I thought that it could really help someone. I really did wish that I, you know, did this sooner. I used to love The Smart Money Woman. I've read that book like 100 times and I followed her, the journal, when I was moving to Ghana. When I needed to save money for Ghana, I wrote everything down, had Excel, not Excel, I had Google Sheets. I had a Google Sheets like document, you know, breaking down my costs and everything like that. And I'm definitely getting back into doing that. And I definitely think that you guys, if you're considering moving to Ghana, even if you're not, you definitely need to just have this down, because guys, cost of living is just wild. And it's like, even if it's wild, we still have to chop life now. We still have to enjoy, we still have to live, and we still have to grow and, you know, just do them. So yes, guys, if you have any other points or any other things that I have missed out, please leave them in the comments down below. Any questions whatsoever, leave them in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at @PreciousHannah_. You can send me a DM, I will be there to reply. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have finally completed this video. Love you lots. Mwah. Bye.